Hello my friend, in this video I'm going to tell you the story of how I got one of my songs playing in H&M stores around the world, what exactly I did to make this happen, and what I'm going to be doing to take advantage of this neat thing that started happening. So jumping right into it, on Sunday, July 31st, I woke up with a brutal hangover from a really sweet wedding that I went to the night before, and also when I rolled over and checked my Spotify for Artists app on my phone, I noticed that I got a bunch of extra streams from a playlist called H&M In-Store Playlist. So I click into it and just trying to figure out a little bit more of what's going on here, and I see that it's actually a playlist made by H&M. So I open it up and I see something along the lines of this, where it said H&M in-store playlist. Here's a collection of our favorite songs that are currently playing in our in-store playlist inside of H&M. So like, okay, that's cool. So this is clearly a sign that my music's actually playing in H&M stores. So obviously when I found out about that, I was pretty excited. It's obviously an honor to be on a playlist like this, and it's obviously like something cool that any artist would strive for, having their music played in anything. As you know, like as an artist, anything like this happening is obviously a huge win, so it's obviously super cool. But how exactly did I get to this point? How did I make this happen? So kind of working backwards from this, clearly somebody put my music in the actual in-store H&M playlist. Then from there, they decided this is one of their favorite ones, so they put it in the H&M in-store playlist on Spotify. And then working backwards from that, this is kind of how I believe this happened. So the song that is in there right now is a song called Lovely. And especially at that time, I think it's still in one of these editorial playlists, but it was going through about 2 editorial playlists at the time. So this song has also been on 2 Spotify official editorial playlists. One is called Fresh Finds Dance, and another one is called Outliers. So I have a really strong feeling that whoever is in charge of the music in H&M most likely found my song from one of these playlists. Also digging in a little bit deeper to that H&M in-store playlist on Spotify, what I noticed is that the first song on that playlist is that new Beyonce song. And if you know, Beyonce is doing a whole album that's all house music, and I also do house music. So when I saw that, like, Beyonce at number 1 and then my song was at number 6, it also kind of gave me the idea that maybe what happened was the curator or whoever is in charge of the playlist was listening to the new Beyonce stuff and was like, cool, this is awesome, liking this kind of house stuff, let me find some more of it. So then they go onto Spotify, they go to the Fresh Finds Dance playlist or the Outliers playlist, then they find my song, they're like, cool, this is clearly something that's popular and trendy in the dance music world, which is what I want more of, and then that's how they decided to put it on to the H&M in-store playlist. And then working backwards even more from that, you might be wondering how I got on the editorial playlist in the first place and got to this point. Honestly, all of that it's almost old news at this point. I'll have a link to the video above about the Spotify algorithm hack, but essentially it's all about building a release strategy around doing monthly releases every 28 days so that you can keep building up momentum inside of the Spotify algorithm, which eventually attracts the attention of the Spotify editors. So I've been doing that for almost like 2 years at this point. It's not even worth like even discussing too much because I've talked about it so much and it just works so well that I'm just going to keep doing it. But by honestly keeping that going, I've built up enough momentum to get to the kind of buzz level that I'm at as an artist now and to get on all these special playlists. So it's all been kind of working up to that moment. There was no reaching out to H&M specialists or talking to their marketing team or anything like that. I truly got to this point just by releasing music consistently with a proper strategy, putting a bit of marketing dollars behind it, mostly with Facebook ads, and just running it through to this point, building momentum after momentum after momentum. And now I'm kind of stacking up all these cool wins, getting to these cool things like in-store playlists and stuff like that. So next I want to dive into kind of how I reacted and what I did. Obviously I celebrated once that happened, but being a little bit more business minded and marketing minded, I didn't just like celebrate and that's it. So one thing that I definitely did was I did a story post on my Instagram and my personal Instagram letting people know about this. It's one of those things where it's like I don't know exactly what's going to happen in terms of, you know, my music's going to go huge because it was in some H&M stores. But what I do know is that when people kind of hear these things, it definitely is like a feather in the cap. It's a little bit more of like, what's going on over there? There's clearly something going on with this person's music project. I should probably pay attention. I should probably follow. So I definitely made sure to do some Instagram stories as well as did an Instagram post as well to kind of like let people know about this, kind of build the buzz a little bit further. The second thing I did was I ran a bunch of new ads. So when I first launched the Lovely song a couple months ago, I ran some Facebook ads just for maybe $100 or $200 or so for a couple weeks to kind of boost the algorithm, juice the goose a little bit. what I did is I went back to those, looked at the best performing ads, and then ran a new ad set, running it to H&M stores across the world. So people that are interested in H&M and follow Spotify, and then I ran the locations to all the locations that H&M has stores available at now. It wasn't super successful. I wasn't too crazy about it, but I thought maybe I would give it a test to try to boost it. So if the idea would be if anybody went to an H&M store, then they might see the ad later and kind of follow through. So the cost per view content, which is clicking on the link and then clicking on the listen on Spotify button on the page there, it was pretty expensive. It was like 80 cents Canadian or so, maybe even higher. I was also doing something where I was testing, also running a email capture in it too, so it might have diluted it. It's something new that I'm testing, but overall that test wasn't too successful, so I only ran it for about a week or so and then I scrapped it. But I think the third thing is the most interesting thing that I did. So once that happened, it was obviously very inspiring and it was very like motivational for something like that to happen. So I took some time to kind of formulate a new plan and a new strategy of how I'm going to be pushing my music going forward. So I'm going to share a little bit of that with you right now here in this video. So the first thing I did was I kind of reflected on like what I kind of learned from it, and there was three things that I gathered. First is that if cool things like this have happened to me so far, being in H&M stores, the Spotify official playlist, like there's been so many of them now, like 20 or 30. And by the way, I have a video on that too, how I kind of got on those. And then also things like getting playlists like my Martin Garrix and other cool music channels and stuff like that. If that stuff has happened in the past, it's bound to keep happening if I keep pushing forward. So knowing that, it's just made a little bit more of strength in the release strategy of doing monthly releases and keeping going. So it kind of gave a little bit more confidence in the release strategy, knowing that if I keep pushing forward, more cool opportunities will arise. The second thing that I really honed in on, and it again is kind of more confidence in the release strategy here, but it's just kind of like understanding that each release is an opportunity. So that's why I think it's important to be releasing as much as possible, because every time I release a new song, it's an opportunity for something like this to happen. Of course, like on the really important, but like maybe more micro level, is picking up new fans, that kind of thing, like building up my fan base, of course. And then in addition to that, like nurturing the fans that I already have, keeping them engaged, keeping them coming back. And then like these also like pie in the sky cool things. It's another opportunity to be on an editorial playlist. It's another opportunity to have some kind of influencer like H&M or maybe some, I don't know, playlist curator or whatever hear it. Each time I release music, it's a new opportunity. So continuing to do the release strategy of monthly releases is just incredibly important because it's a new opportunity and crazy things can happen. And then the third thing that I really, really learned from this experience is it just kind of gave me a lot more confidence in my music. So if I got to the point of all this crazy stuff happening, clearly my production's pretty good, and clearly also like my choices of what I'm deciding to create is good. It's clearly going in like a trendy area. If people are picking it up and dropping a neat playlist like Outliers, and H&M's deciding that this is something that they want to put in stores, clearly the decisions that I'm making are the right decisions, and it just gives me a little bit more confidence to really drive home like what I'm doing and keep doubling down on what I think is good music and keep pushing the actual music forward, in addition to the release strategy and the promotion and all that kind of stuff. So with those three things in mind, here's kind of a sneak peek into the strategy and what I'm going to be adjusting going forward. And again, it's three things. So the first thing is that I'm just going to keep releasing new music. It's worked for me in the past for the last 2 years. It keeps getting all these cool opportunities. And I know if I just keep dropping new music, it's more opportunities. And I'm just going to keep building on the buzz that's going on, growing my fan base, all that kind of stuff. So it's a no-brainer at this point. Keep releasing music every 28 days, maximizing on the algorithm at the very least, and then shooting for the moon, hoping to have something really cool happen along the way. No brainer, keep releasing music, keep this strategy. It works, it's not even worth discussing anymore. The second thing that I want to do is start stretching out the songs a little bit, treating them more like assets and opportunities, and in particularly in ways like starting to pitch to external partners. So at this point, I've gone here mostly just doing my own thing, kind of very introverted, not a lot of networking, not a lot of pitching, not a lot of trying to get partners like labels or music channels involved too much. It's mostly just been releasing music consistently, running Facebook ads, and then chatting with anyone who wants to chat. But now that I kind of see like the potential of my music and how it's reaching higher heights and that the quality seems like it's on par, and my choices and my decisions are on par as well, I think I have a little bit more confidence to start bringing in maybe record labels or marketing partners, and basically just starting more partnerships around the music instead of just constantly just dropping out new songs like all the time. I'm gonna start working on some stuff that's a little bit more higher quality and pitching it behind the scenes in addition to keeping a monthly release schedule. So that way I can kind of start seeing if other partners can actually build up what I already have. I think a big point of music stuff is like that idea of like, you don't need a manager until you like have actually done something with your music, and the same thing with a label. A label's going to pick you up when you've actually proven something. I think I'm kind of getting to that point where I feel like there's enough credibility and enough of a buzz going on that it makes sense to start having these more behind the scenes partnerships and stuff. Can't talk about it too much, but I'm going to start working on that, and as things actually start materializing, I'll mention it here on the YouTube channel as well. And the third thing is just making more and more music. So one of the things that happened right after this H&M thing happened is so inspiring. Like, I've been writing so much music, and it's some of the best stuff I've ever written. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm just going to keep making more and more music, because clearly I'm on the right track. And that's kind of the key to all this stuff. The more music that I release, I know the more opportunities that I have. So I'm going to really start pushing down on that, and that's the main three things I'm going to do. Keep up with the release strategy, start working on more networking and partnering around the music now that the buzz is being built, and just keep on making the music, because I definitely more than ever have the confidence in my music and myself and the inspiration to like really go hard. And the music is what underpins the entire thing, and that's the beautiful thing about this whole release strategy and doing music in this way. It's all about the music. So hopefully you found this video useful. A little bit of a different video for me. Usually I write up an article and then I just read the article. I'm trying to get a little bit better for speaking to the camera and off the cuff, and I'm a little bit excited about it still, even though it's been like a week or so since it happened. So it's exciting to talk about it. Sometimes like when I get excited, I'm a little incoherent, so sorry about that. But anyways, if you did find it useful, like and subscribe and all that stuff. If you want me to elaborate on anything that I mentioned in this video, mention it in the comments, and I'll try to have a video in the future that addresses it. Other than that, good luck on your next release, and I'll see you in the next video, my friend. Have a good one.